is it was started out from my word in March, and it was April, May, June. Now it's my word for July, and that word is beyond. If we don't get our heads thinking about beyond this, we're just going to stay in this blue flunk forever. So think beyond this insanity, where you want to go, and what's even more important, who do you want to go with? I mean, if there's anything we've learned from this experience is the value and the importance of friends and family. So let's talk about just planting some seeds and some ideas so you can plan what you'd like to do when we get beyond this. Now, I never know how many people are understanding what river cruising is all about. So I always have to start with explaining what river cruise is and what river cruise is not. I have to start with the rivers. I'm sure you've heard of a couple of famous rivers, the Danube, of course, which is not blue, and the Rhine rivers. And it helps to understand where these rivers are, because the Rhine River actually comes into the North Sea up here, and it's this blue line here. Well, the Danube's down here. And these rivers were never connected until 1992, when they were able to construct the Main-Danube Canal, which connects the two rivers. Now, the main thing to understand about the rivers is that these were the original highways of Europe. This is where civilization grew up. If you think you'd had 4 or 5, 6 days of rain back in the Middle Ages, where you could go on a wagon or a carriage from point A to point B, not likely, but you could always move on the river.
Hang on there, D.
So the riverbanks is literally where civilization grew up. There started with little Celtic settlements. The settlement grew to a village, the village grew to a town, and the towns grew to these fabulous cities that line the riverbanks. That's why we're able to pull into a city or town, simply walk off the ship and do walking tours or bicycle tours or hiking tours or culinary tours.
Something. That said something about speaker. Go back to that second one.
Anybody?
Show small active speaker video. No.
Can we tell who's talking there?
And that's on Zoom itself. It's something to do between here and
I'm
there.
working on getting everybody muted, please. If you're not muted,
I wonder if I disconnect this and just have it on the computer.
It's a crazy world we live in, folks, let me tell you. Okay, so let's talk about the fact.
Unmute your speaker to increase volume and hear other participants. Your speaker, it says, is muted. And I don't know how you... Mine, I know exactly where to go to hit F1 or whatever. Let me get some glasses.
Okay. Hold on.
I'm going here. So with the advent of the Main-Danube Canal, which is this little stretch right here,
last time we used mine.
Now connected from the North Sea, actually through 15 different countries, all the way down to the Black Sea. So that's what really gave birth to river cruising. The other thing you have to understand is river cruising is very unlike cruise shipping, because a river cruise ship in our case is 156 people. We're not out in international waters. We're not crossing international borders, and everything's included. So when you get on that big ship, all you're going to do is come into the edge of the country, stop in a port, get off the ship 4 or 5 hours, then get back on the ship and go to the next port. Have you really experienced the art, the culture, the whole experience of that country? In this case, it has included everything. We include multiple excursions in every port. You know, on the big ship, you've got to pay for an excursion every single day. We have the specialty restaurant at no extra cost. We have premium beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner, champagne with breakfast, and we have free Wi-Fi. So there aren't many extras to add into a river cruise. 3 wonderful rivers in France. The horizontal line up here is actually the Seine or the Seine, and that goes from Paris out to the Normandy beaches. Fabulous itinerary. Vertical line here are the 2 rivers, the Rhone and the Saône. Those go through those shabby areas like Provence and Beaujolais and Burgundy regions. And over here on coming off the ocean is the area of Bordeaux. Now, if you're fond of wines, you know Bordeaux, famous. I mean, a winery can be totally different with the taste from 100 yards to the next 100 yards. And then there's the oldest river wine region in the world, which is the Douro River, which is Spain and Portugal, mostly Portugal. So this is the way you summarize river cruising. Oceans are going to take you to countries, but only rivers are going to take you through them. You're not going to get to Prague, Budapest, Cologne, Vienna, Strasbourg, any of those fabulous cities on an ocean ship. You're only going to be able to do it on a river cruise ship. This is one of our lovely river cruise ships on the Danube in this favorite little town that I have called Dürnstein. Those signature tile roofs, the red tile roofs, that blue Baroque tower. Speaking of vineyards, you know, no, there will not be any machines up there harvesting that wine. It will all be done by hand. And then up here, you have this fabulous castle ruin, which has an interesting history in that it was actually the castle where Richard the Lionheart was held for ransom as he tried to return from the Crusades. And we actually do have a hike. There's a wonderful path that goes up here. So if you'd like to join us with a hike up there, with the hikes and the bike tours, we tell you how difficult it is, how long it is. You can decide whether or not to join it. And we always send out 2 guides. So there's a guide at the front, there's another guide at the back, so nobody feels like they're the slowest person. What's unique about AMAWaterways is that we're a family-owned company. We're 18 years old as the first of this month. 3 families started this company 18 years ago and still completely own and operate this company. There are not major levels of corporate management. There are not major levels of corporate mentality. Diane can email any one of these 3 people and they will respond. Rudy Schreiner, architect trained in Vienna, designs our ships, designs the itineraries. To the right, Christine Karst came from Dresden, Germany, now lived half her life in freedom and half her life behind the Iron Curtain. I call her the heart of AMAWaterways. And it was Gary Murphy's dad, Jimmy, that was the other starter 18 years ago. And Jimmy, again, has that immigrant story. He came over on a ship from Dublin, Ireland, with $50 in his pocket and lived the American dream and built something for himself and his family. So these 3 folks still own and operate AMAWaterways. We present our product only through travel professionals, where you will not see us on television. You will not see us magically appear in your mailbox. We sell only through travel advisors because we know they are the professionals and they have your back. So we are 18 years old, but we currently only have 19 ships. That's as opposed to those beautiful television commercials that have 75 ships. Huge difference between quality control for 19 ships versus 75. Also a considerable difference with the number of passengers. Our ships carry 156 passengers, while their ships of the same exact size, including same size dining room, same size lounge, carry 192 passengers. So if nothing else, consider the noise level in a dining room with 40 more people. Now, as these people built these ships, they had that immigrant mentality. They knew if they built something, if they bought something, they had to pay for it. So every one of our ships are paid for. Rudy says it best when he says, there is no debt on any of our ships. I can sleep at night. Now, we do have all kinds of protocols that we will be adhering to when we get back in operation. Actually, we are currently operating on the Rhine River with our beautiful Ama Christina, and she is strictly for German passengers. So we're not just talking about all these protocols. We are actually already operating all these protocols. So it will be guest, it will be crew, it will be hotel service staff requirements. Now, food will not be that big an issue for us because we have never been a company that did buffets. Our breakfast is served and has champagne, maybe to go with your Eggs Benedict. Our lunch is served, and just as our dinner, we have regional cuisine as well as the standard American cuisine. And our dinners are 5-course paired wine dinner. So that is not a big issue with us. Quick mention of the offer we've made for the past 6 weeks in our effort to give back to our frontline heroes. If you know somebody that's in the medical profession, doctor, nurse, pharmacist, lab technician, EMT, all of these folks are eligible for a free cruise certificate with AMAWaterways as long as they're accompanied by a paying passenger. So it's a great offer. If it doesn't fit you, if you have any friends or family that it fits, please let them know. Wouldn't it be nice to have something like this to look forward to? We do have several offers right now that your advisor will be able to share with you, including some select sailings with free air or free companion air or a great deal for upgrade to business class. Again, that's that wonderful little town of Dernstein, the red tile roofs. You're going to see these villages as you float by, and they're all going to have that central church spire right in the middle of the village. And as you sail these rivers, you're going to look and you're going to think, gosh, these look like little fairy tale villages. Well, the two guys who wrote the fairy tales were called the Grimm brothers, and they indeed lived on the banks of the Danube. So all they did was illustrate their stories with where they live. So it is a true depiction of fairy tale villages. Our ships have some interesting designs. We always have a category called a fixed window. That's the entry-level cabin. It truly is a window that is fixed. It doesn't open. Then we have a category called French balcony. French balcony was actually invented by Rudy all these years ago. Consider it like sliding glass doors. It opens completely out onto the river, so you have the scenery, you have the fresh air coming in, but it's actually not a step-out balcony. Now, in 2010, what happened was they told Rudy he could add 80 feet in his length to his ships. So his new cabin design is a French balcony and a step-out balcony next to it. We call it a twin balcony. Now, the balcony has enough room for 2 chairs with a table in between. Those 2 chairs do not have to face each other. They actually face the river, which tells you the size of the balcony. Now, you can't do this cabin configuration in less than 210 to 235 square feet. That's why our ships are only 156 passengers. You're also going to see an Apple TV here, which you have in every cabin. Does have a keyboard under it for internet connection there, cable TV, first-run Hollywood movies, and even a music system. And we're also wired for at least 4G for free Wi-Fi. Actually, last year we spent as much on Wi-Fi as we did on fuel. So if you need to stay connected, AMA will make it happen. Now, the last 6 ships that we've built have the first ever in the industry connecting cabins. These ships also have triple cabins. That is indeed a single bed there that folds out. And these ships actually have suites that will accommodate a family of 4. The bedroom area is over here to the right between that screen, and this is a fold-out queen-size bed. We do occasionally have families on board. It is usually just vacation times and perhaps the Christmas markets. They tend to be extremely well-behaved and well-traveled children. Plus, they're being watched by every grandparent on the ship. So actually, it's not disturbing or uncomfortable in any way. Our dining is exceptional because we are the only river cruise line to be a member of this gastronomic society, which is called Shen. It is invitation only. And to be a member of Shen, you have to have all fresh, locally sourced food. Rudy declared this 12 years ago when he said, "I will never have frozen fish on an AMA ship." So we are in first name basis with all the local fishmongers. And yes, the presentation really does look like this. Just beautiful food. Now, I want to show you a short video. It's only about 2 minutes long. It will introduce you to our owners, Rudy and Christine. And I think once you see them and hear them, you will understand what this company is all about. Now, if it shows their faces just for a little bit at the front, and the Zoom video may stutter a bit and the faces don't match the sound, but the rest of it is all voiceover. So I want to introduce you to AMAWaterways per Rudy and Christine.
Why the name AMA?
AMA in Latin, amore, means love. For us, there was so much love that went into the creation of our company.
That's the whole reason for AMAWaterways.
Together, we had a dream to create the very best river cruise line that would be out there. Ships that we would enjoy ourselves. River cruising is something very intimate. It's an immersion into the culture. You see the country. We are docked mostly in the heart of the city.
The destination is still the countries you visit, not so much the ship. The river cruise really gives you double the leisure time. The ship is a means of luxury transportation from destination to destination.
The AMAWaterways was Rudy's dream. We have created the most unique floating boutique hotel on the Danube River, I would say on all the rivers.
This ship is double as wide as most of the other ships on the rivers. It has 4 restaurants.
Uh-oh. No, I guess we're not going to have the video tonight, folks. I apologize. So, I will introduce you briefly to this ship that they were just about to introduce, which is called the AMAMagna. This is Rudy's dream ship. He's had it in his head for 7 years. Took 2 years to build, and she just launched last year. She is unique. Now, every river cruise ship that's going to be in that Main-Danube Canal or north of there cannot be any wider than 38 feet. Rudy realized from the Main-Danube Canal all the way down to the Black Sea, those locks were designed to take 2 ships side by side or 1 AMAMagna. Now, I can talk till I'm blue in the face about the difference between 38 feet wide and 72 feet wide, but I really think this shows it all. This is the AMAMagna next to another longship river cruise ship. Now, the critical thing here is that both of these ships carry the same number of passengers. Consider the space difference here. I'll show you quickly the 4 restaurants: Al Fresco, which is on the top deck with beautiful windows around; Jimmy's, named for Jimmy Murphy, rather like an Irish pub, family dining, just delightful. Now, all of our ships have a specialty restaurant. So all of our ships have 2 dining venues. We have the main dining room and we have the chef's table. The chef's table seats just 24 to 26 people and has a private chef preparing and plating a 7-course paired wine dinner, and there is no charge for dining at the chef's table. On the Magna, it's an open kitchen, which is just really kind of special. Now, I have to point out our dining rooms, which are unique in that most of the River Cruise lines have every single table in their dining room for 6 people. That means not just dinner with 6, that means breakfast with 6 every day. Now, with AMA, we have tables for 2. We have tables for 4. We actually have 5 top tables. Now, why do we have 5 top tables? Because we have solo travelers, and we have 6 and 8. So really is, and again, you're going to see all these pictures are an indication of our design and decor, which is called Country Club Casual. That is also the way we dress, as well as the decor on the ship. Everything got bigger on this ship. Even that hallway is the biggest hallway I've ever seen on any ocean-going ship. Our main lounge is always the heart of the ship. There's always a dance floor there. We have entertainment after dinner at night. We have an onboard musician as well. We also meet in the lounge the hour before dinner for what we call a sip and sail, which is a happy hour. We also, on this ship, have 2 other lounges with lovely little fireplaces here. Just a great place to sit and watch the river flow by, take your iPad, take your book, snooze off, whatever. Just very, very comfortable. And Rudy had extra space, so he put in a cinema. Cinema does have a couple PlayStations in case we have any kids on board. And what I love for the cinema is the night after we go to Salzburg, Austria. Because on the day we're in Linz, we offer you the included excursions of either a half-day trip to Salzburg or a full-day trip to Salzburg, driving through those Austrian hills, spending the whole day in that beautiful city. Or there's another one that's included. If you've already been to Salzburg, then go to this magical little town right inside the Czech Republic called Český Krumlov. Never bombed in World War II, actually never had a major fire in medieval days. So it's actually original town with the buildings, the cobblestone streets and everything. Now, every one of our ships has a fitness center, a beauty salon, and a massage center on board. It's just bigger on the AMAWaterways. This even has a juice bar positioned right outside the massage rooms. And I think those are really, really cool. You would have seen them in the video, but I have no intention of trying spinning. The bicycles, those are great. I'll do the biking, but I don't think I want to try spinning backwards on the river. We have either a pool or jacuzzi on the top deck of all of our ships, heated for all year round use. This one is a combination jacuzzi and pool, but they took a photo from the jacuzzi side so you don't realize the size of it. That is one of our 5 wine bars. This is a pop-up bar on the top deck.
And Michael, she's the one who does the.
Yeah.
Pardon? Have we got a problem? Diane?
No,
Are we okay? Okay.
yes.
The elevator is very unique on the AMAWaterways because elevators typically cannot go to the sun deck because everything on the sun deck has to lower in the case of low bridges. In this case, Rudy did the first ever elevator that rises to the sun deck, you step out of it, and then it lowers back down. This is an idea of what these cabins look like on this ship, and I'm going to show you the standard or the average cabin on this ship, which is actually 355 square feet. Her beautiful bathrooms have floating vanities, walk-in showers, and separate water closets. Your seating area is again going to have that Apple TV, and your bedroom area is going to have this huge television, and you've got a huge balcony out there, so you can decide exactly where you want the river to drift by. We have 25 bicycles on board all of our ships. They're $650 touring bikes. We always send out the 2 guides. We always tell you how difficult the bike ride is, if it's hilly or not. Most of them are not. It's flat bike paths. We just have more bikes on the Alma Magna. Now, on all of our ships, we are serving the premium local wines. You do not have to buy a beverage package for AMAWaterways. We will be serving a different regional premium wine, and these come from the small vineyards. And you can go into a local vineyard and love their wines. Number one, if you want to bring a bottle back to the ship, that's perfectly fine with us. If you want to take a bottle home, that's why you pack the duct tape and the bubble wrap. But you're going to ask the vintner, I love your wines, why don't you export them? And they'll say, because I sell them all here. So we literally have a different red wine and white wine every single day. So it's delightful to make the wine part of your dinner. Now, we do have wine cruises, designated wine cruises, where we have a wine host on board. The wine host is doing tastings, they're doing lectures, they're doing a paired wine dinner with a different wine at every course of dinner, and they're going with us to the vineyards and the wine cellars. There's no extra cost for it being a wine cruise. It's just got all the regular excursions plus the wine host and all of that on board. Now, I have to mention the Christmas markets because this is my love. I have done this itinerary, different rivers, 7 times. I fell in love with the Christmas markets the first time I sailed over New Year's. The Christmas market, you do not have to travel over Christmas. The Christmas markets go back 700 to 900 years. Every city, every town, even the villages, all have Christmas markets. They open based on Advent, about the 24th or 25th of November, and they actually go through Christmas Eve, and some of the market stalls are still up over New Year's. But the lighting in these cities, and they don't decorate a tree in these cities, they decorate the entire city. In Vienna, there's one street that is nothing but massive chandeliers over the street. The next street over has waterfall lights. The next street over is different. So it's absolutely amazing. They keep the lights off up till Little Christmas, the 6th of January, so you'll never miss it. Christmas markets are a very local thing. This happens to be one of 6 markets in Vienna. It's the largest. And from the main road out here under where the picture is, all the way to the city hall are these wonderful market stalls. Now, people come out during the Christmas markets. The locals come out. They stand with their families, the baby in the baby buggy. You're going to walk through these Christmas markets and you're going to smell sausages roasting and nuts roasting and the local gingerbread called Lebkuchen. You can also do some pretty cool shopping here all in one week. So think if you went over Thanksgiving and came back after Thanksgiving with every bit of your Christmas shopping done. That's pretty special. So 2 shots of Prague, because it's my favorite city in the entire world. Prague is a beautiful city no matter what time of year. Look at these incredible buildings around the Old Town Square. The architecture is amazing. Christmas time, they put this monster Christmas tree in the center of the Old Town Square, and all of these lights are timed with the music, and of course it's surrounded by the market stalls. There is some great street food going on in these markets, and pastries and local treats. Very, very special. There's Salzburg. You know, I mentioned that. Fabulous city. This market, this square, is located actually right outside the front doors of the beautiful Salzburg Cathedral. So very, very special. We decorate like crazy. We decorate the inside of the ship. We decorate the outside of the ship. We're going to have a couple trees for a tree trimming contest. My favorite day on the Christmas markets is when we honor St. Nicholas Day, where we suggest you put a shoe out in the hallway, and that night, St. Nicholas will bring you a goodie to put in that shoe. You'll learn about the Christmas traditions and holiday traditions of all these different countries. Very, very special. This is called Glühwein. Glühwein is a signature drink in this part of Europe at this time. It is a hot mulled wine, has spices like cinnamon, cloves, oranges. They will also have hot chocolate and hot cider in these markets. What's really cool is this Glühwein, or chocolate or cider, comes with a souvenir mug. And I would encourage you to take at least 2 of these mugs home with you. Again, duct tape and bubble wrap, because every year thereafter, when you pull out those 1 or 2 mugs, the memories will just come flooding back. Quick intro to 3 exotic locations that we have. We are actually in Africa with what I call a wee ship. She's called the Zambezi Queen. She only has 14 cabins. So that means total capacity on this ship is 28 people. She's doing a 4-night cruise on the Chobe River, which is between Zimbabwe and Botswana. So you're doing game viewing by water and by land. Then we're going for 2 nights at Victoria Falls to spend 2 nights there. So we have 5 different options that can be added to that in East Africa or South Africa. We're also in Southeast Asia. We were the first river cruise line to go there. When we first started offering this destination, I had some real reservations. And I read something recently that explained my trepidation, my hesitation, and that's people look at Vietnam one of 2 ways: Vietnam the country or Vietnam the war. My head was indeed on the war side. I did this trip 5 years ago, next month. It was the most astounding, powerful, and the word everybody's going to use for this trip: life-changing. It's an entirely different culture. The Buddhist culture is gracious, welcoming, cheerful, forgiving. It was so, so special. Wouldn't trade it for the world, and I'm ready to go back. Now we have a brand new destination that we're introducing in September of 2021. We are returning to the Nile. We were in the Nile until 2007. They had a few problems over there, so we left the destination, but it remains one of Christine's very favorite destinations. So when we realized it was safe to return, and when Rudy realized he could design his own ship, we decided to return to the Nile. We will be sailing starting September of 2021, and we are 60% sold out already for this destination. Now, when you do the Nile, you just don't pop in and do the 7-night cruise. You bookend the Nile on the front end, on the back end in Cairo. In our case, we're doing 3 nights in Cairo at the 4 Seasons Hotel. We're going to then fly you down to the ship. We're going to do a 7-night cruise that includes absolutely everything. It's going to be the temples on one side of the river, the tombs on the other side of the river. It's going to be Queen Nefertari's tomb, which most people never get to. Luxor and Aswan. It's just going to be everything. Then you're going to fly back for 1 more night in Cairo. We don't just take you to the presidential palace. We're going to take you for lunch at the presidential palace. So these itineraries have a lot of exclusive options. The new ship under construction now is called the AMAWaterways. She's only going to have 34 cabins, which is 68 people, and there'll be 62 crew members. When Rudy designs a ship, he always designs the ship in accordance with where we are sailing. So that ship on the Mekong in Cambodia and Vietnam has that French colonial decor. Same with the ship in Africa. So again, we're going to be a little more contemporary on this ship, but very much in keeping with this decor. Beautiful pool and shaded areas on the top deck. Little more contemporary, beautiful lobby like this, and main lounge like this. Now, when AMA offers you a river cruise, we always offer the option of pre and or post land packages. Now, for instance, the land package extension, when you do the Danube, is 3 nights in that fabulous city of Prague. I really would like for you to promise me if you ever do the Danube, you will have to do the 3 nights in Prague. Now, what's different about the way we do the land extensions? The way we do the land extension is that our cruise managers are not assigned to a ship. Our cruise managers are assigned to the entire itinerary. So several years ago, when I did the Danube solo, I checked into the hotel in Prague and I didn't know a soul that was going to be on that ship. Well, the cruise manager had a desk in the lobby of the hotel. That first night had a meet and greet with a little champagne toast to tell us what's going to happen for our 3 days in Prague, transferring to the ship with us, and then transferring from the Prague to the ship and staying the whole 7 nights. That is a level of service and security nobody else offers. Now, what's going to be pre and post with Egypt? Well, you've got the option of 3 nights in Dubai, or you've got 4 nights in Jordan. That'll be Amman and the fabulous ruins of Petra. Now, we first started talking about this destination about 3 years ago. I had in my head what would be my dream extension, and we've done it. The back end, the post-cruise package is 4 nights in the fabulous Waldorf Astoria Hotel in Jerusalem. So you're going to do all the sites and everything there is in Jerusalem. You're also going to go out to Masada. You're going to go to the Dead Sea. So you're going to do it all with AMAWaterways. Now, since you joined us on this virtual cruise night, I can offer you $100 per person discount if you deposit something within 2 weeks. Now, a deposit with AMAWaterways is very unique. When we ask you for a deposit, we ask you for a $400 per person deposit. And then there's absolutely nothing else due until 90 days from the sailing. So say if you booked December 1st this year for the Triple Savings Christmas markets, you put the $400 down and there's nothing else due until the latter part of September. If you book Christmas market cruise next year, same promotion, you would put the $400 down and then nothing else due until 90 days from the sailing or next September. Now, I mentioned the fly free. I also have an offer that is good, that ends today, because this offer was only good for the week that we're in right now. This is actually a specific itinerary at 2 for 1. It is Impressions of the Seine on April 22nd. So fabulous option there, and you literally would just have to put the $400 down. Now, I do have to end with 3 quotes that are near and dear to my heart. The first one is attributed to Buddha, and I absolutely fell in love with that Buddhist culture. Would have stolen this quote no matter who said it, folks. But the fact that Buddha said it, this really speaks to all of us. Buddha says the trouble is, you think you have time. Oh, you're always going to feel this good. You're always going to be able to travel with your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, and your nephews. How many of us know somebody who thought they had time and they didn't? So you can always make more money. You can't always make more memories. And Mr. Carson from Downton Abbey said it best when he said, the business of life is the acquisition of memories. So again, this experience teaches us where, not only where you want to go, but who you want to go with. I cannot wait for my grandkids to get a bit older because I'm taking them on this kind of adventure. I'm telling you, take a teenager or preteen, walk through the Anne Frank house, sit with them in courtroom 600 where the Nuremberg trials were held, walk through a concentration camp and a museum in that fabulous city of Prague. It will be more educational than anything they're going to get in school, and it will be memories that will last, I promise you, actually longer than you do. So we are back to you, my dear.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That was a lot of information. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions for Kathy?
You have to unmute.
Hey, this is Sabrina Gibson. Do have a question. So are the ships docked in the evening after dinner? You can get off and go back into town?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We love for our guests to do that because oftentimes, for instance, if you're on the Rhine River, one of the fabulous ports there is Cologne. You're docked about 3 or 4 blocks from the Cologne Cathedral. Well, that Cologne Cathedral has a huge plaza in front of it. The plaza is surrounded by beer gardens and cafes. So why not walk back there and enjoy that? Then these folks come back to the ship. We're going to have onboard time 12, 1 o'clock, even overnight. And then some folks will dance the night away on that little bitty dance floor as well. If everybody would go in the lower left-hand corner of their screen, you'll see a little microphone there. If you'll click on that, it will open your microphones. Or can you do it, Diane?
Let me see if I can do it.
This is Sabrina. Can I ask another question while people
Sure.
are figuring out their mute? So you mentioned you did not need to have a beverage package, but if you do not want beer and wine and you would rather have liquor, are there beverage packages or do you just do a pay-as-you-go?
All our lunches and dinners include beer, wine, and soft drinks at no charge. And then there's that happy hour with the Virgin Marys or the Virgin Cosmopolitans or everything you want. What we find and what our owner's philosophy is that some of the cruise lines, and I have to assure you, there's no such thing as a bad river cruise. They're just different personalities. But oftentimes they include the total beverage package. And our thinking is if all the beverages are included on the ship, people are less likely to go back into the port and enjoy that local culture and cuisine. So, it's perfectly comfortable for non-drinkers to just ignore the wine glass at dinner and lunch. It's perfectly comfortable. It just tends to be part of dining in European culture.
Okay, maybe I didn't ask my question clearly. I guess what I was asking was, can I buy some vodka if I want to on the ship?
Oh, you can bring your own bottle on, hon. Buy it in that duty-free shop.
But you have it too, right?
Yes,
you can actually
absolutely.
buy drinks. Okay.
I'm good for a vodka tonic anytime. If you purchase a drink afternoon or after dinner,